Alright, everybody, welcome back. Some FF14 content, bro. This guy, Moopliss, however you say it. Recently, I just kind of discovered him from actually like transferring over and trying out World of Warcraft. But I didn't even know that he was playing Final Fantasy 14. Holy shit! Like it's been a minute since I've checked this guy out, but he has a new one. Why new players don't enjoy Final Fantasy 14? Now, there shouldn't be any fucking reason why you don't love this fucking game. The only thing I can honestly say is that you kind of do have to go through the story, which is primarily the best part of the game. I mean, it's the majority of the game. Like it's the highlight of the game, you know. But other than that, like there's honestly no fucking there's no there's no fucking like there's no complaint. Like there's seriously no complaint as to why you shouldn't like enjoy. I don't know. I'm interested on his take, but let's see what he says. Without further ado, let's roll.
Recently, I became a sprout in Final Fantasy XIV. You know, the critically acclaimed MMORPG with a free trial.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I started playing the game for the very first time in early 2024. In fact,
Nice.
I actually made it through 50% of the MSQ for the base game. If you want to be more precise, I actually
Okay,
made
so
it...
he is 50% through ARR. So he hasn't finished the base game. So everything that he will say, you know, I'll kind of fill in the gaps for him a little. I mean, he won't see this fucking video, but I'll kind of address some things pertaining to that other 50% that he hasn't exactly gone through yet.
50.16% of the way through so far. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Whoa. Hold your applause, ladies and gentlemen. I know this might be a big thing for a lot of people, because let's be honest, a lot of people stop playing Final Fantasy XIV because of the base main story that you have to get through before you can enter all the goodies and the fun stuff that exists within the expansion.
True, but the thing is, you have to kind of set the foundation that the other games, that the other expansions are really built upon, and that's why I really love Final Fantasy 14, because as much as I'm enjoying WoW, like you don't feel, I mean, unless you're playing classic, you don't feel that foundation, man. Like everything's it's so fucking scattered. Like how many versions of this game do you guys have now? You guys have retail, you have classic, you have hardcore, season of discovery. Hell, there may be more. that I'm 4 versions of this game, bro. 4 versions of one game. I mean, it's good because it gives you options, but there's a thing called too much options. But
I kind of feel like I'm left in the corner. Like everyone's hanging out at the Salty Splatoon while I'm here in Weenie Hut Jr.
Bruh,
So
you ain't
today,
missing nothing.
I'm going to tell you guys currently my experience with playing Final Fantasy XIV. The things that I really like about the game so far, and the things that
Oh, that's
don't
awesome.
really make sense.
Don't subscribe to the
I want
homie.
to end this video off on a high note, so I'm going to start off with the things that I actually dislike about Final Fantasy XIV. I
Which should be nothing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this game.
think we got to talk about the elephant in the room. No, not that elephant. I'm talking about the base game story of A Realm Reborn. A lot of people probably know this, but
Bro, I don't know why they had freaking Rabon do that, man. That was just, even when I first played this game, I was like, why is he holding her like a parrot, bro? Like, but hey, it became a meme.
you don't know, when Final Fantasy XIV, the 2.0 version, A Realm Reborn, came out, they were also adding updates into the 1.0 version. You know, the one that failed. In fact, this whole documentary on YouTube does a way better job at explaining it.
True.
But anyways, the
document.
base
That's a great
game,
document.
or at least the story of A Realm Reborn, it's not so good, in my opinion. Of course, you're able to explore the world and see a bunch of
That's
different
debatable. That's debatable. He's only completed 50% of ARR. So, I mean, again, it's world building. Like you have to take those slow moments and like really build upon them too, so you can appreciate everything that comes after. Like, I mean, it's a slog, but I mean, hell, every book has a beginning. Every movie has a beginning. Like it's just one of those things that you like just have to do. You have to world build. Like you just can't go in like from 0 to 100. Busting nuts everywhere. Killing dragons, slaying demons. Like it wouldn't. It wouldn't just feel. It wouldn't feel right. It would feel like WoW in that sense if you just went from 0 to 1,000. Like it would just feel like going from perfect example going from freaking uh from the actual like tutorial island. It's not coming to mind right now. All the way to BFA, and like you don't have anything. You don't know what's going on. Like you have no context for anything. It's confusing. It's ugh.
And that's actually kind of cool, meeting all the different characters living in different towns and villages, and of
Right.
course exploring all the different maps that they have within the game. There's a bunch of mobs that you can fight. Like, the exploration of the game is quite good, even though the graphics are kind of like PlayStation 3 era. But regardless, the exploration of the game that the story kind of forces you alongside with, that's the fun part. The thing that isn't fun is the amount of dialogue and kind of bland questing. There's this one part in the
True.
MSQ where it
True.
takes you to this guy, and he has some valuable information about the Titans that are essentially like world-ending threats to the world of Eorzea. Eorzea? I still can't say that, but
Eorzea. Yeah. Eorzea? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
you guys know what I'm talking about. Anywho, you're talking to this guy, and he's like, well, before I tell you the really important information, you gotta set up all the ingredients and all the different foods that I need for a feast. So here you are running
Yeah.
back and forth and back and forth to all these different people to get him things like a McDonald's Happy Meal. He wants some stinky cheese as well. And of course, you can't forget about the wine. And after all of that is done, then the feast can begin where you can hopefully get this information. And there's a lot of just like bland questing in the game like that kind of puts you off like, wait a second, everyone's saying the story of Final Fantasy is so good, but like, why do I have to go get some stinky cheese for some guy? Like, that's exciting? This is really what makes everyone super stoked about this video game? I think what would be a great fix for this is...
To be fair, I'm pretty sure every MMO has bloat in it to where you're just doing dumb shit. You're just doing dumb shit for like for no reason, bro. Like like with the like in Elden Forest when I had to get when I was doing the quest for like the McClures, and I forget the lady's name. I think she was the auntie. Anyways, but you know how her freaking necklace was stolen, so I had to go to Billy, and Billy, he didn't know what uh he had no idea what I was talking about. But I had to bribe him with a pie from the lady that he stole her necklace from. So I mean, like that. I mean, it still was a cool quest, but I mean, it is still bloat. It's just a quest. Like every MMO has these things.
Is allowing players to actually start any expansion that they want to. Now, hold on a second. I'm not saying that I want to skip the story. I would not skip the story. You won't catch me buying a skip. I'm going to play through all the story as...
Good. Don't ever buy a fucking skip in this game. If I see any one of you bastards skipping the story of this game, I will come to your house and I will break your kneecaps. I'll break your fucking kneecaps.
the developers intended it to be. However, the base game itself is, at least so far, 50% of the way through, 50.16% of the way through. Yeah, that's right. My Twitch chat helped me out with this one. But my experience with the base story so far is, quite frankly, kind of boring. This one guy commented on my video. He said, the base story is kind of like watching paint dry. And there are some exciting moments, don't get me wrong. Like, there are some really cool characters that you meet in the base story. But so far, 50% of the way through, there is
I still need to get this mount, bro. I still need to get that fucking rat mount.
a lot of things that kind of make you go, what? And that's the sad thing, because all these players are forced to play through this. Like, if you want to make it to where all your friends are hanging out in Shadowbringers or Heavensward, or even in June when Dawntrail launches, you have to play through everything all the way through. And that's not a bad thing. Of course, when Dawntrail comes out, there will be all these characters that maybe I don't know about, so it's a good thing that I play through the base story. I got you. But I think locking away maps and content that I can't explore until I play through all the story, it's kind of a bummer.
But the thing is, the maps and the content, they have purpose. Everything in Final Fantasy is connected pretty much to, like, the zones are connected to the story. Therefore, nice pause. Therefore, it would just be bad if you were to skip, and it would be just so jarring to. Ah, man, see, that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler. All right, a little bit of a spoiler. All right, so if you haven't played the game yet, leave. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it would be a bit of a spoiler if you were to go from ARR all the way to Shadow, yeah, Shadowbringers, and just be in the Crystarium, and like you wouldn't have any idea who any of the characters are, like the zones, the pixie zone, like you, like you wouldn't like even the. That's also a big spoiler. I'm not gonna reveal that, but even like the main, like your main, I guess, accomplice in that expansion, and the big, like in the big reveal in that expansion, you wouldn't feel connected to anything because you've skipped so much. So, like that's the thing about the zones. Like they're very connected to the story. I think WoW is also kind of like that, but you guys have also said that WoW zones, well, pretty much, yeah, pretty much every zone in WoW is like separate to itself. So,
I wish it would be more like Guild Wars 2 or World of Warcraft.
no, no, fuck no, fuck no, bro, fuck no. Wait, let me hear him out.
See, in those games, you can make a character, level them up to whatever level you want to in any type of zone, and then you can explore any type of expansion that you want to. So for
Right, but if you want to go through the story like I am, it's dog shit. It's dog shit that you can't. I mean, it's not a. It's a good and a bad thing that you can skip through and play whatever you want. It's good for when you're leveling outs quick, but for someone who is coming into a game that just kind of wants to be, hand holded a little bit and go through everything properly so they can really appreciate, World of Warcraft as much as they can. It sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. The new player experience is absolutely hot, steamy, rotting piles of dog shit. And I just wish it wasn't like that, man. Like, why is it like that?
instance, if I make a character and I go, okay, I want to explore the Mist of Pandaria, or you know what, I'm thinking about checking out all these different places in Wrath of the Lich King. You can do that. And the same thing for Guild Wars 2. But Final Fantasy is like, hold on a second. You got to play through all of this before you can get to all this other stuff. And a lot of people talk so highly about the expansions. That's like kind of the salt in the wound. People are like, yeah, A Realm Reborn is kind of rough, but once you make it through, Heavensward is gonna be amazing. Shadowbringer.
Bro, even finishing all the way up through Endwalker, like I look back at ARR and it's actually better than going through that first time, man. Like, and again, you guys won't understand until you get there. And I mean, that is the thing, you have to get there, because the thing about Final Fantasy is that it is truly the hero's journey. It's a journey. It's not something that you can just spawn in, be a level 1, do some quests, and then get taken to another area. Then all of a sudden, like you're the champion of Azeroth, man. Like it's just not like that. Like it truly is it's a thing that builds and compounds over time. And like that's why I love this fucking game, because it does it so well. So fucking well. It is a slog. Yes. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But the thing is, even after you get over that hill, and you reach the end and you go back and see everything from the beginning again, it's different. Shit is different.
Is so good, and I'm so hyped for Dawn Trail. I can't wait. But I'm now coming to terms with maybe I won't be able to explore Dawn Trail with everyone else in June. There's a lot of content I gotta play through. Of course,
Yeah, you don't. That's the thing. You don't have to rush. Why do you guys? Why do fucking MMO players do this, man? Why do you guys rush to the end game, then bitch and complain about there being nothing to do? Take your time. Like, like I don't. I guess it's different for me because hey, I'm an adult. I have a fucking day job. I got things to do in my own life. I go outside. I touch grass. I fuck bitches. Like there's things that I do besides video games, man. Like, why do you guys? Why do MMO players like just why do you like ever since I started playing MMOs, like it's so weird that MMO players do this. Like they'll churn through as much content as humanly possible, complain about that there's nothing to do in game because they've done everything because they sat at their computer 18 hours out of the 24 hours of the day. And now companies they really have to push out content that's half-assed faster than they originally planned because the player base is so hungry for new content because they're complaining that there is nothing to do. Like, why don't you guys just enjoy? Like, I know, man, it sucks that I guess because everyone wants to be where everyone else is. I get that. Everyone wants to be around other people and really have that MMO experience. But the thing is, there are always new players coming into every kind of MMO, even ESO. So that's the thing. Like you still like you're not really missing out on that much. Like yeah, you have your friends waiting, in the end game. But think about all the new friends that you could make along the way at the beginning.
of course, I'm taking my time with it. I'm reading through all the story. People really hype up the story. So, I want to make sure I read everything
Yo,
and know what's going.
yo, fuckboy Thancred, bro. Bro, I miss that era. I miss the era of fuckboy Thancred. Bro, Thancred was a fuckboy, man. This man was a fuckboy. Again, you guys, you wouldn't understand,
on.
man.
But sometimes
Whoa.
I'm thinking there's a lot of dialogue I should just be skipping, maybe. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me in the comment section down below, but the story, at least with Final Fantasy XIV, the base game so far, 50% of the way through, it's kind of a snooze fest for a majority of it. Like,
True. But the thing is, they do it so well because so many of what was hinted in like later expansions is also like directly correlated back to ARR. And like the way they tie these expansions together, man, it's like a perfectly woven like just web. This man, it's just good. It's just so fucking good. And again, he's only finished 50%, so I'm trying not to be
there's a
too hard,
lot
but
of dialogue to get through. I read books, I like to read. It's no problem. I'm more than happy to like voice these characters if there's no voice lines within the game. But there are some moments where I'm questing and I won't get into a battle or start using my skills until 45 minutes or even an hour later. And that's crazy. Like there's that much dialogue.
what quest is that? That it takes up an hour. Like the only thing. What quest is that?
In some moments within the game. There's this one part where you have to go to these 3 different like races or factions and they all give a speech, like it's all voice, which is awesome. But I'm like, oh my goodness, can we not have like sectioned this off, like sprinkle in a dungeon here and there? And that brings me over to the dungeons for Final Fantasy XIV. Those are some of the best things that I get to experience. Sure, the dungeons are kind of easy, and that's not a bad thing, but I love the different environments. Like, for example, not all the dungeons are underground. There's some that exist, like, within forests or different kind of houses or different structures within the game. And I really like that about dungeons. The developers...
And another great thing about FF14 Dungeons is that it really forces you, well, not forces, but it's designed to be built as an actual like what a 4-man dungeon. Whereas in WoW, like someone can just bulldoze through the whole thing by themselves and Like they don't wait for no one. Like they're just pulling packs. Like hell, half the time I just show up and I just collect loot and dip. But in 14 done, it's like you actually feel like you're part of the party. It's a small thing, but it's a great thing.
Really play around with where a dungeon can exist. It doesn't always have to be some deep dark cave that you explore. But when you're not doing dungeons, a lot of the questing is very classic MMORPG vibes. Like for example, you know, go kill 5 of these things, or please go deliver this item to this guy in this other town kind of thing. Oh, but he has a problem and you got to do something for him before you can actually get whatever you want from this guy, and then you backtrack over to that one person that you were talking to originally. And that's not bad. Like I knew this going into playing the game, but there are some moments where I'm like, dang, I need a break from it. And this is how I advise as a new player how you can get through MSQ without kind of burning yourself out. See, there's a lot of different things that you can do in the game. For example, there's these like duties that are essentially just like world events. These are great things to jump into, and it kind of breaks the cycle of questing and running back and forth kind of thing. So I always recommend doing these kind of open world events. Of course, don't jump into them by yourself. Sometimes you do need to socialize with other players. And that brings me to the next point. Taking time to socialize and be around other players. It's really cool that as a streamer, I have some people in my stream who are always there to accompany me as I quest in Final Fantasy, at least when I go live. And it's really funny because they hop on these weird mounts, or they have these cool looking glamour or outfits that their characters are wearing, and that's cool to react to and actually see the different things in the game. It gets me excited to push through the MSQ. You know, maybe if I get through all the way, there will be some great weird mounts that I can ride. Like, for example, one of the characters, he's a Lalafell, he's on this like weird motorcycle thing. The Lalafell can't even reach
What mount is that?
the steering. He's just...
What fucking mount is it? I mean, it looks elegant, but
the steering. He's just like hanging onto it. And I think things like this they're so funny within the video game. And this is something that I really actually like about Final Fantasy, the goofiness about it. There was another moment that I had within Final Fantasy XIV that was hilarious. I ran into a bunch of Lalafells that were dressed up essentially like mafia members.
Bro, what
so
the
I
fuck?
walked up to them
bro,
and said, hey guys.
Lalafell's best race, man. Lalafell's best race in this fucking game, bro. Like, they're so serious and silly at the same time.
You know, how's it going? They traded me an outfit. I asked if I could join their mafia, and so we were walking around the city trying to find some guy who, I don't know, it was some made-up story, but it was really funny to just like interact with people within the game and have these certain
text bubbles. Bro, I'll say no more.
Experiences. This is why I love MMORPGs. I love being able to play combat against other monsters with other players, and I love to be able to have these social elements that they wouldn't exist within single player games. Lastly, if you're looking for another distraction from the main story quest, I highly advise you check out the Golden Saucer. Now, I haven't done a lot of things within the Golden Saucer, but I did do something.
Some people live in that fucking place. Some people absolutely live there. Like,
really fun. I did a jumping puzzle there, and it was a blast, actually. Because there was a lot of other players there, not just within my stream, who was doing the puzzle at the same time. And it was always fun to see people jump off or not be able to make certain jumps. Like, that's always fun to do a platforming kind of segment within a video game. And there's a bunch of other things you can do in the Golden Saucer that I'll eventually get over to, but that, of course, you could probably spend days or maybe weeks just doing Golden Saucer activities within Final Fantasy. Aside from the MSQ, you do have these other quests that you can do. Like, if you want to unlock...
And even like some of... Like, I'm still doing this, but like going back and doing some of the like side quests, it unlocks and it gives so much detail to other things. Oh man. So yeah, if you guys are ever playing this fucking game, make sure you do the quests with the pluses, because those things give you some good goodies.
Glamour or dies within the game, there's like these side quests, I would say. Or if you want to do your job quest to kind of level up your job class, there's new ones every 5 levels or 10 levels or something like that.
Yeah, I think
the job quests are actually really cool story-wise, at least for me as a black mage. You know, the best class in the game. Literally like
warrior. Warrior best class, bro. Best class in this fucking game. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you believe. War. War. War.
Okay, I know people don't like Black Mage, but
Yeah,
still,
Black Mage
I'm
sucks.
having a great time doing the job quest for a Black Mage. The final distraction from the MSQ that I recommend is fishing. And let me tell you, fishing is very chill, you're vibing. It's like kind of a vibe like RuneScape when you're skilling. And it's really fun to do in a group. So for example, when I was streaming one day, I was like, okay guys, we're gonna unlock fishing. Now here I am, I'm fishing. We got a whole crew together. So I'm gonna step away from the MSQ and I'm gonna talk about other things that kind of don't make sense for me in Final Fantasy, and there's just one big one. Chat dialogue. Like when I talk to someone within the video game, why is there not text above the person's head when they're talking back to me? I have to look at this other chat box to see if people are talking.
Yeah, that's the worst thing, man. And like that's what I really like about World of Warcraft is that you guys have chat bubbles. So like the ERP is like not ERP, but like what is it? RP. Yeah, the RP. Jesus Christ, man. The RP is really strong in this game. It can be. It's really fun to like actually see and look on screen what someone is saying besides just looking down at the box and see what they're saying, then typing it out, and it's like it takes you away from like that kind of character to character interaction.
To me, and for the most part, I'm missing the dialogue if someone speaks to me. Now I know there's ways you can, add chat boxes in the game that I'm not going to talk about.
Yep.
But regardless, I think it's a very important thing to add within the video game. Aside from those 2 points of chat boxes and, kind of the boring parts of the MSQ, Final Fantasy XIV is a lot of fun. For the most part, the combat is actually very enjoyable. And because the game is very slow in pace to level you up and get you new skills, you have so much time to kind of master all the different skills that land in your skill bar as you level up. And this is something that I normally don't get to do in other MMORPGs because they just dump a bunch of skills on your skill bar.
Bro.
No, for Final Fantasy XIV, it's a kind of a chill environment. You're having a good time with it. So of course the combat itself, you have time to kind of read everything and get to know your class very well. Everyone says that Black Mage is like calculus and it's very hard. Maybe it is when I hit level 90, but as a level 40 right now, I am chilling with Black Mage. I'm having a great time with it so far. I do love the silliness and quirkiness of Final Fantasy XIV. Like some of the quest dialogue is hilarious, but outside of that, like the outfits, the mounts within the game, how you dye your armor, what kind of expressions or emotes that you're using.
Yeah.
Like you can purchase something where you can just like go back and lean on a wall. And like that is awesome for a video game if you just want to AFK.
Like even the small things, man, just the emotes. Like I know WoW has it too, but not to the degree that Final Fantasy XIV has it. Like there's so much you can do in this game, emote wise.
And that's what makes Final Fantasy XIV really fun and entertaining. I catch myself laughing at a lot of different things that I find within the video game, from characters looking really interesting, or even like the adventurer plate, like being able to customize this, like have a photo, have a quote, tell when you're playing the game. Like that is so cool. I think every MMORPG should have something equivalent to the adventure play. Lastly, I have to give another shout out to the game's community.
Yeah,
and I'm not
best
just
community,
talking about
bro.
the people who
Rise
watch
up.
me on Twitch and join me as
Best
I play the
fucking
game.
community.
I've played the game off stream and have talked to people and asked them questions as a new person. They can see my Sprout icon, so they know that I'm a new player, which also helps. But people are super friendly, and of course they'll kind of
that's what you need in WoW, bro. Like, cause you can't tell. I mean, you can tell by like the levels, but you don't know if someone's on an alt or something, and it would just make things so much easier when doing content. That hey, this is a new guy. Let's just kind of show him the ropes a little bit. Let's be helpful to him. That'll be nice.
They'll kind of answer any questions, and you'll see random silliness happening within the game, like Mafia Lalafels or a band concert happening with a bunch of players. It's just so cool as to what you can see a bunch of players doing within the video game. And that brings me over to what FF14 is, or how you should look at it. It's more so of an RPG first, because the main focus is about the story.
Yeah.
This is what the developers want you to play all the way through. You can't just jump into content unless you want to pay some extra cheddar. Yeah, it is what it is. You got to play through the story, and that's something that can be fun, actually. There's a lot of fun moments in the base game that are exciting. The rest of it is kind of a snooze fest, but everyone says that the expansions are really cool story-wise. And the second hand of things is the MMO side of it, where you can socialize with players, where there are certain things that you can do as a group, like dungeons and duties and stuff like that. I did make one mistake, though, that I think hopefully Square Enix can consider in the future. See, everyone talks about how with Final Fantasy XIV, you can jump into it, you don't have to pay any money, you have a free trial all the way through the base game. But there's a lot of really annoying restrictions, like you can't whisper players or even trade
that's the
them.
only bad thing.
It's an MMO. Like if my friend drags me into the game and he goes, hey, I'm gonna trade you this outfit so you can wear it around, why can't we do that? I know they probably have these measures in the game to go around people botting or people getting annoying whispers from gold sellers or something like that. I get that. But me as an MMO player, if I'm going to play the game, I want to be able to socialize. I want to be able to trade people things. So I bought the game. Yeah, that's right. I bought the game. And I know a lot of people right now who play Final Fantasy XIV. You're like, why did he do that? And I thought, okay, I could buy the game, no problem, still play it all the way through the base story with the trial, and everything will be good. No, when you buy the game, that's when you have to start paying for a subscription. Your trial ends right there when you purchase this video game. And that means that you got to start paying every single month. Yeah. So I did what any normal person would do. I contact Square Enix support. I said, hey, I didn't know the trial would end. Is there any way that you can help me out? They said, get lost, buddy. Time for you to start paying every now and then. Okay, they did.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, man, as great as Final Fantasy is, Square Enix is still a company. They're still a company. They're a business.
They didn't say it like that, but they essentially said they can't do anything, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Other than that, though, I'm having a great time with Final Fantasy XIV. I hope to make it through A Realm Reborn. I do stream the game. Would love to see you guys there. And let me know in the comments section down below when you started playing this game. Was it easy for you to play through the MSQ? Do you have any tips for me as a new player or anyone else who's looking to play the game, and how we can enjoy it more? Please let me know. I read every single comment. Special thanks to the Patreon supporters. Appreciate you guys. And thanks so much for watching, everyone. As always, stay hydrated, gamers.
All right, guys, go subscribe to the homie. Wow. Wow. Yeah, man. Like ER, it is a bit of a slog. My neighbor's dog is barking. It is a bit of a slog, but again, man, he's only 50% through. Once again, it sucks. It sucks that it's like that. that the beginning of the game can't be a little bit more, exciting, a little bit more engaging. That's the thing with world building, man. I mean, I do appreciate it now that I really finished, like, kind of the current expansion. Cause like a lot of stuff, man. Like you go back and you just like look at the scenes again, and you're like, damn, how did I miss this? What? Damn, it's just like an eye open. Like it's one of those things that gets better over time. Like it ages so well. I mean, when you first do it, complete ass. So I mean, I understand. But again, 50% of the way. I'm sure once he gets to the dinner, yeah, he's locked in. He's locked in. Guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, do like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.